so on. It's just going to become gradually harder and harder.
Well, we're going to be kicking off Inferno, MVP on the T side, Avant on the counter-terrorists, and Apoc's already going to take the initiative, pushing into Apps with Stacks, just peering across, hell of a headshot, gets him in midair. Zion's just going to bypass Sterling. This is all about getting round the back of the counter-terrorist, catching him off guard, catching him unawares. He's got an intel mission for the rest of his team, and now that Sterling's gone down, they're going to have no idea about this.
That's so sneaky. He puts a lot of faith in his teammates as well. Let's see if he can actually find something for it.
He's already on the site.
There you
Soji's
go.
probably just jumped out his chair in surprise. That's a proper jump scare moment. Apoc, though, is going to try and return the favor, but now he's given his position away, and Zeph drills into his head. Surgical precision with the USP. Avant, 2v4 against them. What a sneaky round this ended up being.
I really like it from Zion. Normally, you'd see players let him go past, and once you see that there's not a follow-up, there's not going to be two players coming through, you take that kill for yourself and move about with your day. You just put so much trust into Zeph finding that kill on Sterling. Retake here. More or less impossible for Hazard at this stage. No defuse kit, 3 players to find. Okay, that's 1. Kid is in front of him, but Zion's just going to wide swing and end all of his hopes and dreams of winning the pistol round. So MVP are perfect now. 3 pistol rounds, 3 to their name, and 3 possibilities.
A wry smile across the coach's face. Understandably, when so much is on the line and you've just lost the pistol with the terrorists looking to try and make amends, make the most of it. Yeah, and Zion's showing a lot of respect and trust to his teammates, letting that first player go past, calling it, and then just moving on with his business.
Please deal with this.
Yeah, because if they end up getting killed by the player that pushed past him, that actually throws the round in a really awkward position for MVP.
Yep, it really does.
Oh, those nades have just shredded MVP. Stacks and Zeta have shrapnel buried deep all over them.
And it was meant to go the other way around because there was a missed nade from MVP there that was meant to land in the opening of the B bomb site. That would have definitely done a fair chunk of damage to the CTs. That botches, and instead it's MVP to get the brunt of the hit. Well, actually, just the entirety of it. Jir is the only one who's taken damage so far on Avant with a single point of damage. There's still plenty of utility here as well on the side of Avant. This is really scary for MVP. They don't have the time necessarily to wait this out.
That flash thrown in speculatively just to see if any player would spray out, expecting a push to try and gain intel. Nothing was forthcoming, but now they're seeing Zeph have a quick peek, and they're going to decide to turn away here and run back towards the A slide. And Avant haven't budged an inch. They're going to be running into a 3-player stack MVP with 3 players who have been tagged. They have no more grenades to play with. There's a smoke planted down. This is going to be so very brutal, but Stone's gone down to the hands of Stacks. Meanwhile, Jira with a P250 trying to hold on for dear life. And it looked like MVP were about to slip over and faceplant, but instead, they've somehow weathered the storm.
Somehow, it was us Sterling wanting to put down the same smoke that did so much work for him last time they played Inferno, which is 5 power, right? He survived for the better part of 15 seconds on the side, doing a lot of damage and eventually making sure that Avant could win at the round like that. One of the players just slipping by the smoke, being able to find him immediately, sends everything out of control. So MVP get away with a bit of a scary situation there. Them only losing Stacks is a bit of a miracle on that site take. Was that I wanted to get the most value out of his SMG. He's going to go down for his troubles. 3 players survive.
Well, the MAC-10 at least will still have some use. They can drop that to one of their teammates if they don't want to fully buy behind these 2 saved Deagles, which you don't really expect them to. That would be a pretty huge error in judgment.
I mean, we've seen
We've
it happen a couple of
things.
times. Yeah,
true.
I think 5 power having the most dastardly buys at times might be one of the reasons why they're not here at this stage. Nonetheless, though, Avant probably going to have to sit this one out, hoping to do at least some damage. But they haven't gone for a massive stack of any sort. It's going to be the nades down, and Zeta once more being the recipient. We'll see how eager MVP are in actually putting pressure on this B bomb site, knowing how many nades that flew down and all that.
Yeah, in fairness to Avant, they have a very good nade placement, nearly getting kills in both the previous rounds. Now Zeta down to 16. They did manage to just about mitigate the stack on the round prior. Now it's nowhere near as much of a powerful buy and no utility to speak of on the counter-terror side of things.
Yeah. Needs to go out on the side of MVP, as you like to see.
Entries coming in. Hazza, the only player once again with his Desert Eagle, but all 4 of MVP have been tagged.
Heavily as well.
Battle won at this stage. Now the question is, do Avant know it? Because if they do, I mean, they may very well just go all in. I mean, to be fair, they don't really have much to save anyway, so you may as well just throw caution to the wind.
Have a go at it, see where it takes you. Gio wants to work with the Deagle instead of USP. Seems like everyone's set up, just waiting for MVP to actually move out of the bomb site. Soju definitely in a spot to actually do significant damage with the ZZ. Oh, and I don't get this from Sterling, why he would rotate around. That makes no sense.
I mean, if you've only got a P250, like, you basically have nothing to save
for you. Yeah, it's not like they have SMGs on the side of MVP either, so...
1 HP for Zeta. Lucky boy.
That could have been so much economic damage on the side of MVP. Instead, they have 2 rounds where so much damage has been inflicted on them, but they stay alive.
Now, of course, they don't have the benefit of being able to see like the HP, but still, you got a P250 and a CZ. Neither of those are really going to be that relevant in this round when you've got AWPs and M4s. So most teams, I feel like, set up for exit frags and try and choke out the terrorists and see just how much damage they can do.
Especially when you set up for that long. Sterling never really wanted to move closer to the B bomb site, which is fair. I mean, hold off in CT spawn, see what comes running your way. It's the same thing Soju did, but he then backs off when the bomb is about to go off, when Soju hasn't seen anything at the bottom of Banana. That just doesn't add up.
I mean, maybe a call had come through that there was a rifle.
Hello?
Yeah, he just got wrecked again. Maybe a call came through that there was a rifle somewhere around Banana that they were trying to retrieve. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of.
Who knows? Zeta took 1 step forward and all of a sudden lost the majority of his HP to the Molotov.
He was the same player that got wrecked in the last round. I think it was 16 HP from grenades.
3 rounds in a row now where he's gone down to, I think, below 25 HP off of that. He's not loving life. But they're not losing rounds, so... Well, he's having a bit of a rough time of it. MVP gotten off to a hot start. Again, it's heavy focus on Banana. They give up so much map control while doing this as well. Feels very, very risky. New Molotov goes down. It's going to do a ton of damage. 2 kills. Zeta's still alive. He's not going to play with that. Posted up outside of Banana. Shots through the smoke, not going to connect. Bomb goes down. So retake scenario started.
Flashbang designated to allow Jira to peek out of guard and see if he can have a quick spot on new box where Stacks currently is with the SG.
Oh,
the Molotov right below him. He has to come out into the open. If he got a kill from that, it would have been huge, but the trades are going in favor of the CTs. It's all down to Zeta. He started off the round getting obliterated by grenades. He has got a fortunate headshot through the smoke, but the bomb's been defused. It's a full 10-second defuse. Jira doesn't have a kit. Peek back in again from Zeta, and the clutches MVP PKs. The South Koreans have done it again.
Oh, man. Zeta starts off the round with 6 HP, ends it with 6 HP, but has managed to pick up two kills in the swing of it. Not bad at all. And you can see how much utility damage Avant are able to do pretty much every single round. Just 2 Molotov kills. You've burnt Zeta down to 6 HP. You also forced Stacks out of position again with the Molotov that you had back to new boxes. So now, I mean... You've had so many prime positions for you to actually do significant damage, and you're not able to land the shots. That's a worrying sign, though. Normally, it's negligible. You know, it's not that big of a difference, that big of a factor whether or not you're going to land a crazy amount of utility damage. But if you're not able to capitalize of it that much of an advantage you have,
I think APOC nearly got 200 damage worth from that Molotov.
Yeah.
They both just burnt alive in the middle of it.
No assists on it either.
Yeah, so unless he also got a HE or a couple of shots from his M4, but even with that being the case, they still concede the round. They concede a 1v2 against a 6 HP Zeta, who, make no mistake, played it perfectly, but there's going to be some questions now for Avant. And again, it's their CT side, which is proving to be a little bit of a banana peel. Just the one smoke in play. That's in the hands of Soju, who's positioned just outside of the A site.
MVP being spread out a little bit more this time. Zeta still going to find the opener. Has it to go down. And Banana. Zeta's actually going to push on this. Well, there we go. 2 frags on the B bomb site. Still not going to deter MVP from pushing up on A, and that might be a bit of a disaster, Jira. Oh, actually good for none. It's Soju to pick up that 1 kill. And he's fallen as well.
Yeah, there was a team kill. Stax nailed his teammate in the head, but it was pure panic. But unfortunate, really. Yeah, it does. I mean, in the heat of battle, you have to make sure that you take down the enemies. You can't afford to, like, no, you first, and be polite, because that's when double and triple frags come into play.
Yeah. Sometimes somebody's got to jump on the grenade, right?
Exactly. Someone has to be the sacrificial lamb if needed. Sterling is going to get the drop on Zeta, who is watching the wrong side of Apps, and that could yield them an AK-47. Shouldn't be a bad weapon to take out of the round, and you can see there Sterling hasn't had much impact in the first 4 rounds. Of course, his ADR is going to spike after that frag, but 8.5 coming into round 5 is never great.
Just tickling people at this stage. But MVP off to a great start here on Inferno. They started off well on Dust 2 to boot, but that's when they ran into the issue of losing to a pistol buy on the side of Avant. It's been close, I suppose. They've done a lot of damage here, but as long as they can't convert, MVP are going to be happy to continue on this forward march.
Right, Van, as like an old school player yourself, black bars or no black bars, where do you come down?
I mean, objectively, it is better to have no black bars because of the aspect ratios, right? Oh boy. Zion's a lot of damage. The follow-up from Zeph is going to find them a 2nd kill as well. So even with a 3-man setup here, it's not going too swimmingly for Avant.
That's a freebie of a shot for Sterling.
HSK, there we go. A little bit labored.
Wasn't sure if he was still up on the boxes or not, hence the confusion. Had the opportunity to maybe steer this back into a round-winning position for Avant, but now it comes down to Soju. He has been the clutch master, though, for Avant, so if there's one player who'd won this situation, it's him. He's got a slew of clutches over the last few days.
He's going to have to find another one here, 1v2.
Double peaked. Yep, never really going to work out well. Unfortunate for Soju. Even much more of a detriment to Avant. They're off to a pretty rough start again. Yeah,
it was proper brawl there in Banana. MVP just went out by trading better, more efficiently. GD bet with the odds here for Inferno pretty heavily in favor of MVP. It's their map pick. They're up 6-0, and Avant have been known to have better CT sides than TE sides, so it all kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Really starts to add up. Now these buys are not too impressive. They've gone for the hero op on the side of Jira. He's going to swing aggressively as he hears the continued spam through apps. That stacks down, and for the first time in quite some time, actually, that we see Avant with the man advantage that doesn't immediately get traded away.
Interesting, too. I think it was an interview with Zeta that Banks did when they were discussing how they were starting to get a bit more rowdy and a bit more loud. Hasn't really been too many screams from them. You'd think when you're 6-0 up, you'd be loving life.
I think they did it early on Dust too, right? Winning pistol, rounds, that kind of stuff. And then they started losing, but went really quiet. And when they began to win again, they didn't really start raising their voice. So maybe they just went back to, I guess, their comfort spot of being more reserved.
Oh, that is a miss. That Jira is very likely.
He gets tagged as well, but he's lucky to have the coffins in front of him. Down to 12 HP. Now, how do you retake this bomb site? That's really the big question for Avant, right? You have 0 utility. You have Kevlar, but are you just going to let Jira try to go first, hope for the best, see if he can find a connection?
It looks like that may be the case. He's looking across the new boxes for the time being. No grenades on the terrorists either, and just the one smoke from Avant, which has just been deployed in the banana. HSK opens up with his SG. Could be more coming in. APOC with a 5-7, actually the Deagle, pardon me. And it was Jira that started the round out by missing the shot, and I was worrying I'm wondering if he would live to regret it. It looks like that's going to be the case. He may be able to save the AWP, though, which, considering how aggressive he was, is very surprising indeed.
That's very important as well for Avant. That was the one real investment that they put forward into the round, so him being able to hold on to it. It's a great go of it. Honestly, in that sense, the round is a bit of a success for Avant. If you could call it that. Obviously, they're still yet to post one CT side round, but allows you to throw it over to Sterling. Maybe he can swing things around in your favor, because they really need to get going right about now.
Well, they'll be feeling like they need to get going 3 or 4 rounds ago. This is so very scary. Early nade damage done once again. This time they're going to push behind it. Hazard will reap the rewards with 2 kills. He's down to 42, but he's done so much damage and had such an impactful spree of kills. Surely, Avant, surely this is your chance. This is your moment.
Oh, is Zion going to find the timing? Oh, gets the drop on Soju, but luckily there's 2 more players posted up to get the trade. And this time Avant relying more heavily on bullets rather than utility and banana to get them the openers. Seems to be the way to go as well. With Sterling posted up here, they can hold it pretty safely. We'll see if there's any sort of rotation off of the smoke coming in from Zeta there. He wants to see if he can lure anyone away from the B-bomb site. Doesn't really seem like it's going to be the case. He even picks up a new one. So they do have the smokes at least to cover off CT spawn and also Molotov recoils, but they're going to go for the opening pick, see if they can find anyone by surprise. It doesn't really pan out. Bomb dropped and all stacks. Good showing on Dust too, but this might be a little bit too much to ask.
There you go, Sterling. He's back in amongst the kills. Love to see that from Avant, the Australian New Zealander hybrid team.
They needed that as well. Now it's obviously the arduous task of being able to string multiple rounds together, because you're not going to get very far by getting reset immediately. Loss bonus is fine and dandy, but it doesn't really give you the full outfit when you're on the CT side.
Sure, plus the fact that the terrorists already have 7 rounds.
Yeah, that is probably the most
round losses
thing.
It's all well and good, but I mean, you've got to do something with it. That's kind of the point that Avant are in. If it was like a 3-1 score, 4-1, whatever, still early days, but we are getting to that stage now where it's reaching crunch time.
Yeah, past the halfway point of the first half, and as we said before the game started, this is your die for Avant. If they lose here, no more chances to qualify for a major, no third place playing. MVP are going to be moving forward to play either Greyhound or Tyloo. We're about to find that out later on today, who that'll be. So Avant still needs to make this into a third map, or Nuke would be the one to decide it all if we get that far.
It's Zeta again that takes the early nade damage. The rest of his team and the crossfire is looking good. Jira pushed up on the box, and it looked like Zeph had no idea where he was. He was spinning around, checking all the angles.
He was more worried about Zion than the CTs, yeah. Definitely some miscommunication there on the side of MVP, and that's going to punish them as well. So finally a bit of a run here from Avant. Much needed one. They kind of need to close out and get to, I feel like at the very least 6 rounds to have a fighting chance here on the second half. But at least it's something to start us off.
Especially how lackluster some of these T halves have been from Avant. You feel like they really do need to, I agree, 6 rounds minimum. Which is asking a lot, considering that would nearly have to be a flawless round from here on out. The grenades are looking good. It's Zeta that's going to return the favor, and Stacks just overruns Apoc, who does get a Molotov kill just after death from the grave, but a bomb plan is going to be forthcoming. This is where the superior nades and firepower, though, for Avant should get them back into this round. There's no Kevlar on any of them, no nades to fend off any of these angles, or indeed Kevlar.
Could they get the drop on Sterling, though? Is he going to be patient enough to wait for the players coming in from Banana here? Oh, that's a quick shot on from Aegis Kate. That might actually spur Sterling to move forward. Oh, Stacks, you had the drop.
Oh, it's only a Glock, but he catches Sterling. with a nade out. Fortunately for Sterling,
You've got
he
a
actually
Molotov.
whiffs his smoke to a degree because he dies, and it's going to be Soju defusing the bomb in the smoke. Avant with a third.
That got expensive, though. And that got scary. That got real scary. Sterling never pushed forward, but again, finds just the wrong time to pull out a nade. That is painful.
Bad luck goes F. Is that my smoke? It's extinguished them. And dead.
All right, Avant. Still in it. Still winning rounds. We've lost pretty much any sort of bank that you had with the damage sustained in that previous one. This is a pretty damn good buy from MVP as well. And they've gotten up Banana without taking about 1,500 damage from utility.
that is like, thank you guys. Thanks. I haven't been wrecked this time. I've got an AWP back at T-spawn. They can't get me here.
Well, Zev only being down to 66 HP is going to feel really good about that. Also, an additional thing is the fact that Sterling is not over towards that B-bomb site. So there's only 2 players holding steady, and it's a pretty long rotation time for Jira right now in the position he's in. And they're rotating off the B-bomb site? Curious, it's just bad smoke, though, from MVP is going to give APOC an opportunity, but oh, the lineup there as it goes down as well, and I feel hard-pressed to see how Avant can fight back into this one.
Yeah, it was at that moment Avant knew
They
effed up.
Yep.
APOC's just sat there like, guys, please, why am I alone?
I'm really curious as to what the thought process was there, though. You rotate off for a 4-man setup over towards B without having any sort of control. You haven't heard anything anywhere. The only thing you've really gotten confirmation of is that somebody's out in Banana because they've naded over the roof. And you don't have any forward positioning. Nothing really to play off of. You're more or less saying that if they come B, game over. If they come A, great for us.
Yeah, it seems weird when you're this far behind. You've just started to put together rounds to take a gamble of that magnitude.
Especially when you still have utility to work off of.
Yeah. If you're not a pistol round or something, it makes sense.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you can argue that it kind of works out if you're in a position where at least the B site defender is on the site. Like if you can play around new boxes or dark corner or play for Fountain to get an initial early pick. But Apox is in the one position where you can get smoked off and have 0 impact. MVP are going to be super happy about it, though. They're on 8 rounds. T side of Inferno. Zeta's found Hazard as well. So even though there is a return from Sterling, this favors, well, did favor the T side. Jiro with an aggressive peek into mid.
It still could. If they stay for a 2-2 formation, it would effectively be a 3-on-2. Zayn, though, has shown his hand a little bit early and doesn't carve out a head.
Oh.
What a shot onto Jiro that is. Rapid headshot round the corner. Soju, though, at least going to finalize onto Zayn, but HSK point-blank range is going to send Soju reeling out of the round. Are they going to be able to stop this bomb plant? Not quite, although APOC was only a couple seconds away.
I got the feeling that HSK flick there was to the similar degree of APOC's one on Dust 2. And now APOC needs to come up big.
It's a brilliant flashbang by Soju, though. Lands in his eyes, and APOC gets 2. Avant with a successful 2v2 retake.
There you go. And as you said, yeah, the flash being set up by his teammate, doing everything for him, catches both of the MVP players. So there's no trade. There's no real challenge for APOC to pick up that first frag in pit either. Supremely well done. For the rough position they were put in, they make the most out of it. They didn't really have too much utility either at that stage to work off of. That one flash being so damn important. Reasonable.
It's definitely going to sting Avant, but getting the clutch going in their way gets them a 4th round. As we said, 6 rounds minimum. 2 shy of that now. And that's just to give them a chance. I mean, 6 rounds could still not be enough, depending on how MVP crack out into the second half. But it gives them something to work with. It does give them a little bit of a lifeline at the very least.
Absolutely.
More standard standard plays this time around. Again, though, you did highlight this before. Avant really not trying to jostle for banana control. They're giving it up time and time again. They throw in their grenades and they just piece back to the site.
Yeah. And more often than not, it's not been that great of a choice from their end.
Flashbang is not going to affect Jira. He can stand in position and wait. He's got the pillar as his shield. Now that shield has been shot through, and Stacks claims the first kill of the round. 50 seconds to go. 4 players strong up on mid. It's only Zeph is watching for a potential flank.
MVP actually wasted one of their smokes by doubling up on Arch. Could come back to haunt them. Soju finds Zeta though. Sterling gets caught out of position, and that's the A bomb site sacked.
You could see that Sterling wanted to try and push past the smoke that was designated for library, but in doing so, he didn't want to be out in the open because that's where Flashbang's going to hit you, peeks from balcony. You could see what he was trying to go for.
Yeah.
It was just slightly off time, and well, Avant, their woes continue. Yes, they get the 2v2 clutch, but they're going straight back into another round loss. And this is going to hurt the economy of the likes of Sterling and Jira, who are down to $50.
Yeah, no ops coming out in the next round, to put it mildly. And Avant can only hope to hold on to those 2 weapons on the side of Hazard and APOC, and they will be able to do so at the very least. But 9 rounds for MVP, and at this stage, yeah, we talked about how 6th round feels like a bit of a minimum for Avant to have a shot at this, and that's the best they can do right now.
And it's going to be with a couple of players on $1,400, so if they want to get to that 6th round mark, you'd have to assume they're going to force buy.
Let's see if they actually go for it. The problem, again, when you get set down all the way to $1,400, it does mean that you won't really have that great of a rebuy, even if you were to take an eco in this situation. So the fact that you have 2 rifles saved up means it's fair game to actually force into it.
I'm confused then, because the players of the lowest economy are forced up, but then Hazard and APOC haven't really. They got 1,200 and 2,100 apiece.
They actually could have dropped the FAMAS and everything.
Yeah.
Bought up more utility. Yeah, this...
I don't understand. Like, you either go all in with a force buy or you don't.
I guess they've decided that they can do both somehow.
Well, so far it's working out for them. They've got the first kill on Zeph,
Yeah.
but have just lost APOC.
And that's one of the 2 rifles they had. Oh, Stacks nearly gets caught off guard, but manages to come to senses to deal with Jira. And yeah, you kind of wish that you would have had an extra rifle on one of your teammates for just more utility. Soju, though, it's going to be able to do what Jira couldn't. Right now, all the timings are working out for Avant here, finally. No trade yet. Zeta's aggressively hunting for it. Zeta, they're going to line up for Hazza, and that's a big, big get for the young Australian. And the force buy, yeah, works out, but it's a weird one, right? Like, normally that shouldn't be paying off for you.
No, certainly not, especially considering that at one point I think it was a 4v3 in favor of MVP when Jira goes for the peek in bedroom and gets killed with the deagle.
Yep.
You just assume that the South Koreans put that to bed and they're going to be on 10 rounds. But hey, huge credit to Hazard. He had a fantastic round there, holding the line on arches.
Absolutely did. Not going to get quite the repeat of that in this one. Now they know that there's another player here to defend, and he's not going to be around for too much longer. Zeph really wanted to pick up a new weapon, not going to be able to do so. So continue to run with the MAC-10 that's netted him the openers. Sterling left alone, 1v4.
It would be a 1v5 if he pulls this off. Nice shot onto Zeph, but he's lost so much HP. He's down to 2 from nearly the full 100. Molotov into new box, no one's home. As soon as he peeks around this corner, you're expecting him to be just perforated with bullets, littered with them. Time is also dwindling. Does have a kit. Next kill's going to go his way. Going to tickle the bomb, surely. One stray bullet. And actually, no, it's a blade. Straight to the forehead. MVP PK will get their 10th round. 10-5 half. Avant in real trouble.
Double figures on T side. Got to feel pretty happy about that if you're MVP. They should be really confident about closing the set 1 out and 2. But we'll see how it all pans out. First, we're going to head to a quick commercial break, but do join us to see how it all turns out.
Avant on the precipice, on the brink of being sent home, eliminated, no further part to play in the major qualifications. MVP already up a map, now on their choice, moving across to the CT side. You've got to say, and I'm sure GG.bet's going to back this up, the odds certainly favoring the South Koreans now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way you can spin this into a positive for Avant. They're going into what's been pretty much their nemesis in their T side. They've got quite the mountain to climb to get back into this. And it is to stay alive as well. MVP, at the very least, if everything were to collapse, they have Nuke to fall back on. And I think Siden was the one to bring this up on the desk as well before the match. The fact that they're probably the second best Nuke team here at the entire tournament, but they're so weary about actually playing it or picking it as their go-to map. So it's going to be a rough road for Avant here, but we'll see if the pistol round can give them some answers.
Look how passive the Terrorists are playing, just purely off the base of MVP, taking the fight to the T's. The role's almost reversing in this round. And now it's Sterling that's trying to defend the bomb. There's one, looking for the second. Not going to be too far off, but Zine puts the USB headshot in. There we go.
All right. You're allowed to start shouting now.
Found their voices again.
I absolutely have. And Sign is one of those players as well. Before that pistol round, sitting on 14 kills already, adds 3 to his total. He is the one player that we're really, really looking out for on the side of MVP. He's just been, on average, their best performer. Strongest rifler on the team as well. So him leading the charge, never a bad thing.
MVP sponsored by MP9. All the SMGs, all day long. Going to be playing aggressive as a result of it. As they really should, to be fair. You've got to play to your weapons advantages.
Zeta spotted out APOC as well. He goes over. Does tons of damage.
That is a tactical nuke that's just landed on them. It's going to be another one behind. No, actually. Just turned out to be a firecracker more than anything else. Actually, firecrackers going to be pretty deadly, so I'm going to take that back. It's like a water balloon just hit Jura.
Yeah. Wide stream from Aegis K to take away attention from Zeph, and it's going to work out brilliantly so far. And with the tagged up damage, well, I was about to say, Zeph might be able to get more. Soju, though, quick reply, and they go towards B.
This is really where the MP9 should shine, though, straight through the smoke, holding left click, and Zeta put 3 players to rest. With them, the round should be following. Jira going to take the MP9, use it against the CTs that are oncoming. He's actually in a position where this is in the realms of possibility. It's a 1-on-2. He's figuring out, do I prefer the MP9 or the Desert Eagle?
MP9 was the weapon of choice. But MVP hold off to survive, so even though they take sustained losses. still going to be better than, well, the other potential outcome there of actually losing it out. They've had their fair share of issues with pistols and force buys. Zeta just Wildman mode into pit.
There it is again. Again, when you've got those SMGs, though, you've got so much flexibility and versatility that those are the kind of plays you can afford to make. Sprint round corners and just spray to your heart's content. They do have an M4 alongside it, but it's going to be pretty much a full-on eco. Soju at least going to make Zeta benched for the time being, but he got another 2 MP9 frags, so his money is in pretty good shape.
There you go. So just going to eventually go down in Boiler Room. There's a lot of money being made here on the side of MVP. 4 out of 4 kills with the SMG so far. As long as they prevent Sterling from downing anyone on their side, they should be pretty content with how this is all played out.
Yeah, and they could run through with the good old bonus round 2 with all these MP9s. The double jumping MP9.
Synchronized as you like.
What was it you said before? Dastardly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dastardly play. It's not a word that you hear too often.
I'm an old man. I can't help myself. And Zeta getting right up there with Zine now after mowing down a couple of ecoing T-side players. Getting up in that ADR as well in the high 90s. 13-5. Finally, weapons though on the side of Avant.
Indeed, this is their power spike. This is their moment to try and bring it back. And wouldn't you know it, Zeph's going aggressive. He's going to catch 2 of them with grenades out. Fortunately, Avant don't concede both, but Zeph burns Sterling alive.
From the grave. 2 Molotov kills. Well, do it any way you want, as long as it nets you the kill, I suppose. And Aegis K being tucked in away here. Jira, surely you're expecting this. Yeah, you are. But you might not be expecting stacks. Oh, just spots the head as he jumps across. That's going to be an opening for the B bomb site. Soju not going to be successful with actually holding up any sort of rotation. So HP favoring MVP, positioning favoring Avant. Also have 2 Molotovs here. Instead, they actually just want to dry peek. All right.
Oh, you may not expect 2 players to be around here. Oh, Apoc with the headshot again. Reminiscent to the Dust 2 flick. And they needed it because he got wrecked in that first 1v1. I think he got dropped down to like 25 HP, so 1 bullet and he was dead.
Exactly what it was. So he needed to be immediate with his response onto Zine there. With how Zine's been playing as well, you would imagine that surely he's going to win out that.
Oh.
That is, yeah,
that's
quite something.
That's old man reactions right there.
Old man Counter-Strike.
Love to see it. Seeing as we're both
just ancient
in that position ourselves. Gives you hope, doesn't it? Really does. MVP, hot off the back, though, of that 1v2 clutch from Apoc, the veteran. I'm going to be calling the tactical timeout on their CT side as their economy is in the bin.
It is. Now, for MVP, it's all about being a little bit gathered in how you actually spend your money, not get too over-eager and try to close it out. Or force it, really, to close that out early. Got so much space given to you and so many rounds to play off of that you can easily use this cushion to save up to a proper buy, and that's what they've done as well. We do see pistols getting pretty scary. I mean, plenty of smokes here as well. So if MVP are pretty frugal with their utility usage, this could actually be a bit of an issue for Avant. Nice nade onto Sterling there. They've done, yeah, pretty damn good job of holding onto smokes already. 120 left, 4 smokes still in.
Oh, they'd be pushing. Stacks shoots right through the middle of all of them, the heart of the T's, but unable to connect onto it. Zine. I was going to say he's going to try and use the smoke to catch them off guard, but they are up to the task.
Yeah. The sign just kind of got lost in the smoke as well.
I think as soon as they knew that it was pistols, you just got to pre-fire all the angles on A because there's so many little hidey holes that you can be playing in.
It's very true. But they get the right timing as well to do as well. Instead of ending up in a position where Stax gets the smoke down and you don't pounce through it, that allows for MVP to chain smokes at the same position.
Yep.
And if you're going to respect it every single time, then you're looking at any sort of site take with, what, 20 seconds left? That's when you kind of forget to do what you exactly said, right? Pre-firing the corners and angles, so you're more focused about what you can see right in front of you and getting a bomb plant down, so everything gets kind of hairy.
I mean, pistols themselves are already powerful enough, but as you say, with a bit of utility, they really do accelerate alarmingly quickly. It is going to be a buy, but just the two FAMASs, no AWP in play. MVPK prioritizing extra grenades. Understandably, Inferno, many choke points on both sides of the map.
I'm actually a little bit surprised to see them go with FAMASs instead of MP9s. MVP used to be one of those teams that actually had multiple MP9s going into buy rounds. Did that flash actually not flash Stax because it landed like in a nook on top of the boost ledge?
I think that may be the
case. It popped while he was looking towards it, but it didn't get flashed at all.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused on that too. Plus, I think he was just turning his back. I'm not
Maybe
sure.
he's about to try. I want to say it popped before. Nonetheless, though, nothing really came out of it. But CS:GO grenades are a bit of a weird thing.
They are a conundrum. They don't make a lot of sense. 40 seconds to go. MVPK have used most of their grenades at this stage. No smokes, no incendiaries, just flashbangs.
And Stax holding on to 2 of them. He's in a position where he can use them pretty well. That is going to use 1 out of the 3.
Oh, he went for the flank play. That afforded them the opportunity to have 4 players. Avant, you've got 20 seconds.
Yeah, you're going to have to be immediate with this.
Avant, have you just absolutely bodied yourselves? Because Zeph's already here. He's read this perfectly. Flash out. He goes into the open, but now it's down to Stax. They're trying their best to fend off the oncoming terrorists. And it's going to work out for Avant. Now, I can't remember who the player was. I think it may have been Zeph.
Yeah.
Does he need to run in and peek there, or can they just get a crossfire set up?
He doesn't really need to, but I think the idea there that was one of the two flashes they had remaining at that stage was also with him. So he wanted to get flashed in, and I think they actually nailed the 2 first players pretty decently, but it's the 3rd guy behind that's able to put a lot of damage onto Zeph. But again, if he gets those 2 frags, then it's a play you talk about, like what a move, you know, what forward thinking from MVP. I think it's a bit of a 50-50 decision. But as you said, could have definitely gone for a more passive approach, because you can, if they're going to smoke it out, that's going to buy you a little bit more time. You can cross into ruins, and if they don't, then you and your team would have an excellent opportunity to work off of that. Pistols getting picked apart on the side of MVP. Is that actually just passing one? It's Jira. There you go.
He was waiting to see if a second player came up, but as soon as Jira turns around, he's like, I've got to take this.
Yeah. You wanted Jira to just watch him in the eyes as you pull the trigger.
Assert dominance.
Yep. But it seems like that's all MVP are going to be able to find in this one. Bomb's going to go down from Sterling. Aegis K at the bottom of Banana. Doesn't really have too much of a hope of picking up anything. It might, I guess, if they haven't thrown away the AK, might be a chance here. So he's gone past the angle of APOC. Well, you can see, okay, Haz is doing exactly that. Tucking it away inside of CPL. I'm pretty sure HSK would have heard all the rattling, though, so that's why he's headed towards Apps.
There we go. They're going to double check it. Does get a USP headshot. Ooh, not far off on APOC too. It looked like it hit his head, but only for 16 damage.
Oh, well. 9 rounds for Avant. And again, getting a lot more done on their T side here than we've normally seen out of them. Soju. Some great picks there to make sure Avant gets away safely with that one.
Just a good read of the game as well, knowing it's pistols. Those are the kind of angles where pesky CTs will just sit in up close. So may as well go for the wall bangs. You can do the same sort of angle from the bridge and tap across through the window. You see it happen quite often. A lot of grenades are being exchanged, but no real damage to speak of. Zeph now to try and take this and make it the way of MVP VK. Penetrating the smoke, we'll find Soju with it.
He's going to continue to be aggressive as well, as there is a rotation coming. Actually, Zeta decides to think better of it. He's going to fall back. That means Zeph can't really, well, play this aggressively. Okay.
Gets away with it, though. That was so dangerous. Because he was playing almost like he didn't expect a player to be on the logs. He was leaving himself vulnerable to the logs peak.
It's like if you have a player with you at that point, then you can use that as a bit of a bait, which allows your teammates to swing wide, right? But not the case. Now they've committed to the rotation, though, which is a bit weird. Might be off the back that Zeph is out of utility. See, 2-2 defense. 3 players alive for Avant. They have at least enough utility here to set up for an execute towards either site. Seems like A is going to be the name of the game, and they're pretty far forward on the CT side here. Bomb down.
Stack's doing so much work. 2 kills just by himself. As Zion was trying to bait him in for a potential push, and now Apox made noise dropping down. Surely living on some borrowed time. He's landed some really slick kills in this best of 3, but he can't get it done now. 14-9. MVP PK 2 rounds shy of securing their spot in the next stage.
You mentioned this at the start of the half. You would imagine that the odds from GG.bet would heavily favor MVP, and they definitely do. 1.02 odds on them being able to close out this map at this stage, and then, as you said, solidify their spot as top 3 here at the Minors. We'll learn who their opponent is later on today, if they are able to get to 16. Sterling in between all the smoke and fire. Gonna miss the first opportunity he gets. Zeph's just, all right, definitely testing his luck here.
Yeah, which he did last round too.
I feel like you get punished more often than not if you keep playing like that, which is a scary notion. Because if this is, we've seen it multiple times now out of MVP how they play that banana site, so I don't think that's a sustainable way of going about it.
Well-timed Molotov, and Zeta capitalize onto Soju, who had his attention elsewhere. Sterling, though, meanwhile, has picked off Zeph on the B site. Lover extending, Molotov down, gonna funnel Hazza into the embracing arms of HSK. Sterling with a second, keeping that pressure applied. Replenishing the smoke on CT as well. It's going to allow them the opportunity to plant.
They're going to redo the smoke, though, and that's definitely not something Avant are expecting. Great move from MVP there. That's signed 2 kills. Apoc all alone. They did get the bomb plant down, though, so he has that to work with.
You're playing up close, too. Going to try and catch MVP unaware. There's the first. Gets it clean. The second kill not quite there, and Zine with the SG repels him. 15-9, 6 match points.
That might be too much to ask for, really, for Avant to be able to make a comeback out of this. And there we see the result of the reboost. On top of the flower bed. Zion with a 3K to the round, solidifying his spot as the top fragger on the server, 23-3-13. Stepping up at the right time. Buy coming in from Avant. Obviously, they can't necessarily save up here and hope for the best, but it's not going to be ideal. Galil, Deagle with 3 AKs, and well, most of the utility that they had initially is already gone. 3 smokes left, with 140 remaining to be played. The problem right now is that how do you actually get control of Banana? How do you make your way up through quad side? It's just so tough for the T sides at this side, or at this stage.
Yeah, especially when Avant have really been lacking, I would say, a prolific entry fragger on their T sides. It's one of the main reasons they've been struggling so much is who's going to crack open this site? Who's going to make a play out of nothing? And these are the moments where you need those heroes to step up.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen games where Apoc's been the man to call on in those situations. I think Hazza's done a decent job of it here so far. But again, that comes down to the CT side as well. It's not just the T side we're talking about here. But it's not consistent enough. It really is the issue. And Avant, they're going to try their luck over towards the B bomb site. Some last bit of utility being thrown out.
Yeah, StarLadder with the first HS key, still up on top of the boxes, hasn't been dealt with. It's the clean sweep in the final round of the best of 3. And Avant's dreams come to an end. MVPK are successful, 2-0.
That they are. So in the end, we'll end up with, I guess, the 3 assumed favorites in the top 3 here at the Asian Minor as well. MVP's job is not done just yet. Still have more games to be played. But if you're Avant, you have to be feeling pretty good about actually how this minor for yourself turned out. Just considering what you had in terms of, I guess, hopes going into it. Being able to topple 5 power, I think, is a pretty good job. And they also make it uncomfortable, at least for MVP at times.
Yeah, there were 5 powers kryptonite. All of their map wins in the minor were to the hands of 5 power. But ultimately, when it came against the better teams, the teams that were a league above, they didn't quite have what was required. But as you said, I mean, there's a lot of positives to take away from this. I mean, I think it was Apoc and Sterling, the only 2 players that have really experienced anything like this before. You've got Hazza, who's a super young player, and I think he's a great prospect for the future. Soju was really impressive as well. So I think, you know, give them more time and see what they can do in the next minors. Absolutely.
They get some international matching. They get to go home and work on their craft and potentially come back for the next cycle of minors and so on to see what, you know, kind of go the same route as Greyhound, I guess. And potentially one day end up being one of the favorites for one of these minors. But that's enough for us. We're going to head over to the stage with Sue, where she's lined up an interview.
Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations, Zeta. You guys survived elimination. I saw at the last minor, you fell down to the lower bracket and lost in this exact same match. But today, completely different story. You stay alive. What does that mean to you and the team?
I feel great. Because we survived. The results were better than last Katowice Major, and yeah, we definitely started slow at first, but yeah, we made it, and we need to win one more, and we will keep fight for the major. Yeah, that's it.
Sounds fantastic. And the MVP PK we saw today looked a lot better than the one we saw yesterday. When you played against Greyhound on Dust 2, it was a very rough loss. But what did you learn from that loss that helped you today against Avant?
We saw the demos of yesterday of match, and we felt we were really stupid. Like we made a really stupid mistakes. It means like the timing or usage of items, like the aim. They were better than us yesterday, and if we meet them against tomorrow, I think we can fix our mistakes, and we learned from the mistakes from yesterday, and we definitely need to step up. Yeah.
Does that mean that you would want that chance to get revenge on Greyhound, or would you rather play Tyloo?
Everybody, I think it's okay to meet both teams. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Back to you guys.